Hey everybody, it is Tuesday, July 17th. Hope you're having a great day. I know I'm not because it's been over 100 degrees here as of late. But anyway, this is a video for Gaslands and for 15mm Sci-Fi Gaming. This is to get your skirmish game on in the Gaslands game, as well as if you want to use your 15mm models for Gaslands or for my game, World of the Mad, which this is actually more specifically for, then this is some info that I'm dropping for you for a new rule that I came up with and I hashed out with my good friend Eli. Eli, thanks a lot for that long conversation. You know, we got everything hammered out and I figured it out. Okay, so you want to have a skirmish set to it. So I've got some models here. This is specifically for World of the Mad as far as this faction. This is for the Death Cult faction. The models I'm using, and feel free to use any models you have, but these are 15mm models. This is, and it's not going to focus. Actually, let me go ahead and get another model real quick. Another one of these. We'll get him. That'll work. Okay, so once it focuses, these are the Squamanta Commandos. They were originally released by Critical Mass Games, who subsequently sold the range, all of their range, to Ralpartha Europe. They fall in the 15mm range, but they're actually about, I want to say, anywhere from 10 to 11mm. Great little models. The way they were described to me by one of the gentlemen that ran Critical Mass was they're great little freaks. And they are. They're really, really cool models. I really enjoy them. They're certainly different. But for World of the Mad, like I said, for this setting specifically, these are what I'm using for the Death Cult. If you can find them on Ralpartha Europe, which you should be able to, they are available in stock. I recommend them. But again, you can use any model that you want. So anyway, that's the models I'm using. Now for the Death Cult, they like using vans. This is also another one of my very early models. This is the Hot Wheels Cool one, just slightly modified. The engine is painted up, but anytime I take off the top piece, it comes out. This is just basic black with brown dry brushing on it to represent some rusting, some light rust effects. I like the way the wheels were at the time, and I never repainted them, and I don't think I'm going to repaint them now, to be honest with you. So anyway, the Death Cult. We're going to start with the Death Cult information. Death Cult, they basically love to steal body parts, bodies, and organs. Whether you're still alive or not, they take them fresh off the fields of the wastelands in the World of the Mad, and then sell them back to some chop shop docks. You know, black market organ pullers and body parts. More information on that in the setting, but basically this is the Death Cult's vehicle of choice. Vans, trucks, war rigs. They love them. They use them. They pack them full of bodies. Great opportunity, which I'm going to have to do on here, to use some Blood for the Blood God by Citadel Technical. Just pouring out here in the background or in the front, anywhere, because these little freaks, they're not very intelligent, but they know how to kill things. So yeah, so we're going to use this model to demonstrate this new optional rule, and this was Yuri's Blindwing Gulf Country. This is a Matchbox car. The 3 stripes, so police can see you from the helicopter from above. You know where that's from. No, this is not taped. This is painted on. So anyway, real simple paint job. It's not supposed to look perfect because this is the post-apocalypse, or as I say in the game, the cost after the cost. Alright, so we're going to get to these minis here in a minute. Let me show you the new rule, or optional rule I should say. Again, this was for World of the Mad, but feel free to plug it into your Gaslands game. And if you're playing Gaslands and want to use miniatures in your game, here you go. This is a quick little option, not hard to do, not hard to figure out. Okay, so see, I've got the medium and the short range template. I'm going to put the short range away for a moment. So your Death Cult car, or any car, you're following your opponent. You just can't seem to do enough damage to this car. Whatever the reason is, numbers aren't with you, the dice don't want to roll. But we know a handgun, as in the game, does 1 medium range. That's how far you can fire with a handgun. Doesn't matter if the handgun's a shotgun, AK-47, M16, 9mm, 45 cal Desert Eagle. They all do a medium range as far as shooting goes. Okay, that's established, and that's the rule that I am going with. So we see that it's in range, right? Anywhere that it's medium range. Why? Because handguns can be fired 360 despite what type of car you're using. Even if you got a sealed up back like this, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to change that rule because it makes for quick and easy play. So we're going to establish it like this. It's in medium range. Doesn't matter where, it's in medium range. So one of your crew, oops, and as you see the thing came off, let's fix that real quick. I'm going to have to glue this together after this video. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. Just an occupational hazard. And yes, I did paint this up. I don't know why, but at the time it seemed like a good idea to paint the engine. So yeah, this is gonna have to get sealed up. Anyway, let's get this back in proper range. Okay, so it's a medium range. All right. Let's say I've got this thing with a crew of 6. Of course, you don't have to have these miniatures on the range, on the field, the battle. But I'm just having them here for this particular demonstration. So you're in medium range. They want to fire, but they want to fire at the driver of this vehicle right here. Why do they want to fire at the driver? Well, you take out the driver, the vehicle's going to stop. It's going to stop moving unless it has another crew member. But we'll get to that in a second. For purposes of this, it just has the driver. So normally 4, 5, or 6 hits the vehicle. For this purpose, you want to take out the driver specifically, you must roll a 5 or a 6. 5 or a 6 to hit the driver. Each crew, every person that's in the vehicle has 2 wound points. You can call them hull points, you can call them hit points. I'm calling them wound points. So each crew member has 2 wounds. You roll a 5, that's 1 wound taken away. You roll a 6, that's an automatic 2 wounds. Boom, driver's taken out. He's done. He's out. Dead. Or critically wounded. Just put it like that. He may or may not still be alive, but he can't drive anymore. Doesn't matter what your model has as far as armor or anything like that, because this game is not what you see is what you get. And I am not getting into making additional rules for armor and all that stuff. Straight up, let's say they rolled a 6, critical, boom, 2 wound points are gone. This car is out. Let's move this out of the way real quick. So now, what happens? Driver's out. Vehicle will move forward 1 short range. The player to the left of this player, whoever that may be, will decide where this vehicle is facing ends up. It's basically a free spin. Doesn't matter. They're just going to end up any which way they want because it's not going to move anymore. It's done. If the vehicle falls into a wall, crashes into a wall, resolve the rule as normal for a collision. So now everything is resolved. Here's where your problem is. Let's say it goes from here. So let's go back a little bit. And put this back a little bit in range. It's a medium range. Yes. Hits. Rolls a 6. Move forward 1d6. Or 1 short movement. Player to the left changes its position. Basically a spin. We're just going to leave it like that. Move this off the table. Now, this vehicle, let's say it was in a range in gear 4. Okay, it's in gear 4. So he can move any which way he wants, but since he's in gear 4, he's going to have to move whatever he can. So for this purpose, we're just going to say it's a medium. So he has to move 1 medium range, makes his move. Instead of his attack, he can decide he's going to drop his gear. Why? Because he has to drop his gear to gear 1 in order for one of his crew members to pop out of this car. Now he takes over this car. So guess what? Now you've gone from possible 50-point team. Let's say there's 3 cars in this 50-point Death Cult team. Now you've got a 4th car. He takes him out. And basically the entire next gear phase. Let's say this was gear phase 3. Gear phase 4. Everything moves. It's taking this whole thing for him or other members of the crew to take this body out, load it in here, and for them to reestablish this vehicle. Then once you recycle back to gear 1, guess what? Well, of course you got to do your move and all that other stuff. But now the Death Cult has 2 vehicles, has another vehicle, rather I should say, that has joined its road crew. How advantageous is that? So you may or may not want to destroy your enemy vehicle. As far as Death Cult, they get bonus points for, and again, this is more World of the Mad stuff, for the more bodies they stack up in their cars, as sick as that may sound. Excuse me. The more points they win, if you go into the campaign mode, you know, that's all victory condition stuff right there, man. That's pretty cool. So, let's take this example back a step a bit. So this vehicle, driver got hit, it rolled a 6 and ended up spinning out. Now this vehicle has to make its movement. Let's say it drops to the 1. Still has to wait. This vehicle had, again, 2 crew. 1 crew is dead. He's out. 2nd crew can decide, you know what? I'm going to kick out that body. He's going to take over. Well, if he takes over, next gear phase, he can choose to either make his movement or basically make a ram attack against a human. Because this figure has to be out. Again, that's if you're using miniatures. If you're not, you know, just use a penny or whatever to represent it. He can make his ram attack in gear 1, just crush him. He's dead. They only have 2 wound points. A ram attack getting hit by a car, you're going to do 2 wounds. You have to do 2 wounds. If you don't, then you just say that he jumped over or some crap like that. But anyway, so yes, this team does have the option to go ahead, if they've got more than 1 crew member in their vehicle, to have the other crew member take over driving duties. That just means they will not be able to man a 2nd weapon. Okay. Also, another thing real quick. For front-mounted weapons, I tend to do them like this. Do them on the side. That's just my personal choice. Drivers, to me, if your vehicle is mounted like this, and I have, again, same thing on this one. If it's mounted on the side, it's not firing sideways. It's not firing out this way. It's firing forward because the weapon itself is in a forward position. So I always say the driver can fire this weapon here. Or if it was mounted up here, to this side, as long as it's facing forward and it's fixed, that's going to be, you know, the way that it faces. Of course, that's up to you, but that's just my personal choice. In World of the Mad, that's the rule I'm going with. As long as it's facing forward, if it's mounted facing forward, then the driver can do it. But he or she would only be able to fire 1 weapon at a time. So, yeah, each gear phase, you know, let's say you're in gear phase 1. You've only got the 1 crew, gear phase 1. Boom, he fires his handgun. Gear phase 2, he decides, oh, I'm going to use this heavy machine gun that's mounted on the side. Gear phase 3. So this, for instance, I call these flamers. These are my flamethrowers. Only 1 driver, so he's already fired handgun from here. Heavy machine gun from here. Now he's going to fire his flamer from here. Why? Because it's facing forward. He's able to do so. It's not a 360 weapon. The handgun, very easy to say it's a 360 weapon because you can stick your arm out and pretty much aim anywhere. And aim out the side of the window right here, if there is a window, or whatever. You know, the game is not very specific on that. I'm not going to touch that stuff. So yeah, there's your skirmish part. Remember, excuse me, I can't find my dice now. There it is. You want to take out a driver? Roll a 5. Roll a 6. Being medium range. 5 takes off 1 wound. People only have 2 wound points. 6 is always a critical. It does 2 wounds. Takes them out. Yes, they can evade. They can still do the evade. If you're going to fire on them, they can still do the evade. But the bird saying that they didn't evade. 6 does 2 wounds. Boom, driver's dead. Move vehicle. 1 short movement. Player to the left decides what facing it ends up. Resolve any collisions that may occur. Excuse me. This vehicle will do its final movement. No, just for practicality's sake, real quick. I'm going to say it does a short movement because it can. Decides instead of attacking, it does a full-on stop. Incurs a hazard token for doing said stop because it's a dead stop. They get their hazard token. Guy comes out, collects the body. Now when it goes back to gear phase 1, or excuse me, when it rolls over to gear phase 1, this team, the Death Cult, now has this vehicle added to their road crew. Sounds like fun. I think you guys like it. If you get to try it out, let me know in the comments here or on World of the Mad on the Facebook page. You can find the link below. And coming up next is going to be basically a work in progress thing I'm going to do. A lot of people have been posting around this picture of a Volkswagen bus that's been rusted up. It's really an easy technique to do. I've gotten a couple of people asking how to do it. So I'm going to do that. It's going to take a little while for me to post that video because I have to do step by step and take video of each part of the process, then edit it. I will tell you, it's a lot easier to get that rust effect with a white paint job. Just being straight up with you. It's so much easier to do with white because then you can use various shades of rust effect materials that you may have on hand. And also with lighter colors. Very easy to do the effect and achieve a great looking effect. When it comes to darker colors, it's a lot harder because then you're going to have to use textures and other things in order to bring out those colors, that rusted color. Because, you know, rust, there's so many shades of rust, it's ridiculous. Alright, but that's time for another video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you liked it. If you have questions, again, best place for the questions would be on World of the Mad on Facebook. If you post a question here, I will reply as soon as possible. But for some reason, YouTube is just not giving me notifications as soon as you post it. I don't know why. I've changed all the settings. I'm still not getting the notifications. I don't get them until I check my Gmail for some reason. And I check that maybe once or twice a day. So, let me know, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a safe and happy work week. If you're on vacation, don't be stupid. Don't drink and drive because we all need opponents to play, and we sure would miss you if you don't get the opportunity to play because you did something stupid. Alright, take it easy, guys. Have a good one.